What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the overall economy thus far, what you should be watching for in terms of the news and data, and how things are looking in my personal opinion. But before I break the doubles information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends in just 9 days. Anyways, for NIO, as you guys can see, this thing's on a bit of a downtrend right now, getting this rejection in the very, very low $4 area. Since then, we've got this big drop that happened off the rejection on Friday. So now we're approaching our support at 3.7. If we lose 3.7, look for 3.5 as our next target. If we hold 3.7, look for a bounce to 3.8. Then we have 3.9 above that, then the $4 area above that as three resistance levels. Now, I know the levels are kind of annoying. They're very, very tight, but that's because NIO is getting much tighter and we're at a very, very low share price value. So every few pennies it moves does actually account for a bigger move. So for example, if NIO was at $100 a share, right, if it goes up $2-3, that's a 1 to 2% move. But in this case, if we go up one whole dollar, that's more than a 25% move to the upside. That's because the share price is down to only $3, and that's why it's very sensitive right now to very, very small movements. So that's the reason why I'm calling some very tight levels, and maybe watch to see if NIO could bounce off its support. But I first want to talk about some data and such before I break down more details about that. So anyways, going back to this whole situation involving Iran and Israel, the supreme leader has said that Iran demonstrated its power against Israel. That's very important because there's a lot of confidence in this claim right here. But with him saying this, he didn't really mention that or kind of account for everything right here. He did basically say that different analysts are looking at the situation. They're going to continue to, remain very, very strong. But he didn't really say anything about attacking back or trying to continue to escalate the situation. He didn't really imply that as of right now. And I just want to make it very clear that so far, some analysts out there are kind of downplaying the risk of a wider conflict. That's what some reports are showing. Now, with the whole situation involving Iran, I don't want to downplay it and say that we're completely clear right now. Nothing bad will happen from this point on. Nothing's guaranteed quite yet. We still have to give this more time. But as of right now, things have not escalated like much more from where we were just like a couple of days ago or even like last week. We did see Israel attack back after Iran's retaliatory attack. It's been back and forth attacks, but since Israel's attack, Iran has not really threatened to attack again, at least so far. This could change again, but as of right now, with things cooling off a bit, this could be a little bit more positive for the markets. For more data, tomorrow is going to be Monday, April 22nd. We just have the Chicago Fed National Activity Index report coming out, then a bunch of bill auctions. So it's going to be very minor. But we do have some big earnings coming out very soon. We have Verizon announcing earnings on Monday. Then we have Tuesday. Tesla's going to be announcing its earnings on Tuesday. That's very important because whatever Tesla says about Chinese sales or how it projects EV markets to continue, this could also affect NIO. So we'll have to see what happens with Tesla's earnings. That's going to be very important. For NIO, I'm not really seeing anything new right now. There is news coming out that once again, NIO did sign some agreements to open up more charging networks for other companies out there. So that's a big improvement in their overall performances. NIO is also going to be rolling out the NOP Plus driver assist to nearly 230,000 EVs on April 30th. So that's a good piece of news for them. What is this? This is Navigate on Pilot Plus. It's a driver assist feature that's going to be available to nearly 230,000 vehicles starting in about 10 days from now. This is happening when there's a lot of competition with smart driving space, and it's beginning to intensify. So this driver assist technology can be very useful for them as they're using better chips and better technologies. I think this is great news for them, and I think that as time goes on, this is going to be very useful for like highway driving and things like that. Which is going to be utilized alongside other features, which should continue to improve as time goes on. NOP Plus has been validated on about 1.21 million kilometers of roads, including 850,000 kilometers on urban roads and such. It hasn't been tested as something like the Tesla's driver assist functions, but it is something that's of use. I think this could be very, very useful for its users. As time goes on, this could definitely grow. I can't wait to see what else the future holds for it. But for now, I would say that this is a good piece of news for them, and I can't wait for what else the future holds. That's good for NIO. Maguire has come out. They gave NIO a neutral rating. They kind of reiterated that. There's not really anything else changing. The price price ratio is still down a bit because we're not really seeing a big change as well from that end. And besides that, in terms of seasonality, we tend to be green only about 49% of the time on Mondays. We tend to be more green on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And look for volume as it's only at 36 million, but this could start to go up. In my personal opinion, we're going to be watching this test of 3.7. My gut tells me we might try to bounce off of this with the market. I think that we could dip a bit more, but I predict we might actually try to bounce on NEO and try to get back to our 20 EMA because NEO is releasing good features and the whole market could actually try to improve after some news that we got over this weekend. For SPY, the trend is bearish. Technicals are bearish as making lower highs and lower lows, and it's continuing to fall quite quickly. You guys can see we have tight levels on SPY as well. As SPY is continuing to sink, we're going to be watching to see if we could hold above 493. If we lose 493, look for 491 and eventually the 480s next. If we hold above 493, there's a possibility we try to hold this support. We could be looking for a counter trend move to about 497. If we break that, we could be heading towards 500, closer to the 50 EMA. I think there's a very good chance it's going to attempt to rebound, but there's no confirmation yet. We might dip first before that rebound comes. The news has been a little bit more positive, so hopefully this helps the market to some extent. And then big tech earnings could be another big factor. My gut is telling me this might try to rebound a little bit. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry, guys. Part of why I say that is because when you look at other indicators, such as the fact that we're trying to hold up a little bit better. We also have a bullish divergence developing. This could help a little rebound come as the market's going to do for that. We could dip a little bit more first before it happens. I do suspect that this is a strong possibility, but on the chart, there's no confirmation yet, so we just have to wait and see. For Tesla, we came all the way down in the morning to about 145. If we hold above that support, we could be looking for a move back up towards the 150 plus area because Tesla has its earnings very soon, and sometimes approaching earnings, Tesla likes to bounce. For confirmation, look for a break of the 20 EMA above 148. If we break this, we could push higher towards 150, eventually 152. I suspect Tesla will attempt to rebound a bit, but we need confirmation first. I think there might be a little test of 145 again before we try to continue higher. And we could see Tesla try to get back above 150, at least right before its earnings, at the very least. With the QQQ, we've come down. We're on a downtrend as well. We're going to be looking at our support all the way down here. We first have this support over here at this 413 area. If we lose that, look for 410 to 411. And if that fails us, we could be coming all the way down to 407. My guts tells me it might actually dip a little bit more, and then we might see an attempt to rebound. If we could try to get back above 415, look for a push for at least 417 to fill this imbalance. There's a chance it might try to rebound. We could fall first before we try to make that move. So watch for that very carefully. For Aapl, we're trying to base at 164. We do have a tendency of bouncing off 165 historically, but as of right now, Aapl is still looking kind of weak. Could this dip a little bit more? Yes, we can. We could get very close to the 163 range, but I think that Aapl could reverse as we're trying to base here. So I think it might dip a little bit more into the 163s, then try to reverse, and we could be looking for a move back up to 165. That's a strong possibility. Not going to promise it until we get confirmation, so we'll just have to wait and see. Nvidia is down 10%. It could tip a little bit more. We're going to be looking for a test of about 750 to see if we can get a counter trend move off of that. It does look like it might tip a little bit more, which could slow the QQQ down a little bit. But then watch and see if we could hold for 750 and try to rebound off that. That's going to be key for Nvidia, and we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. With that being said, the market is looking like it could dip a little bit more, but then we could see some buyers step in, try to defend very soon. If that's the case, NEO could follow the trend where we hit 3.7 and try to rebound. If we lose that, look for 3.5, but I'm hoping we try to hold this support because the last time we hit this, we bounced. So let's see if NEO can do that again. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.